Hi, welcome to This Week in Ames. I'm Susan Guiazda. On today's show, we check in with the City of Ames Finance Director. My guest today is Finance Director Dwayne Pitcher. Dwayne, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Susan. Good to be here.
Well, once again, we're at the budget time of the year, which is a very interesting time of the year for all residents and taxpayers in the community who might have an interest in how those dollars are being spent. What can you tell us, sort of an overview about the budget process so far?
Well, Susan, we're well into the budget process and preparing the budget, but right now we're at the point where we start to present the budget to the City Council and to the public. So, as you know, on Tuesday will be the council meeting where we hold a public hearing on the budget. And actually this first session will be just for the departments to present the information to the City Council, and then the following Tuesday the council will take public input on the same capital improvement plan.
So you're talking about the January 21st meeting, and then we will have a public meeting on January 28th at the regular council meeting.
That's correct. And both those meetings will just be covering the capital improvement plan. That's a 5-year plan that's updated every year. The first year of the plan will become part of our budget. As the council adopts those budgets, they'll also be adopting a budget to pay for that first year of those projects.
Now, you mentioned we're really well into the process, and for those who don't know, the process for departments starts, quite a few months before this process.
Right. As you know, our fiscal year is July 1st through June 30th, and not too long after the end of the year, we're starting the process of budgeting for the following year. So in late summer, the internal departments that charge out to the other departments prepare their budgets. So the August, September time frame, we're working on that. You're sending out information, polling the public, all the citizens of Ames, or a large sample, to find out kind of their feelings on the services and expenses to pay for those services. We use that as part of our analysis.
And you're referring to the resident satisfaction survey that goes out in the spring and then is analyzed over the summer. And that data comes back to everybody to sort of look at those benchmarking items and how things are going.
Yeah, that's one data point that we use. And then in October, we have a town budget meeting, and that's just an open meeting. We take any input that the public may have related to service levels, where they'd like to be with the budget. That all goes to the council. And then in November, when we get some financial data together, and we have a little bit more information about where the city stands budget-wise, we present that information to the council, and we get their input on what they'd like to see in the budget going forward. With those marching orders, so to speak, we get some direction from the city manager. Departments go out and start preparing their budget, and my department gathers it all together to prepare the one budget document that then goes to the council and the public.
Now, many years we often deal with transition in our city council. This year we had a little bit more transition. Are you having to work with the new council members to get them up to speed?
Well, we'll be spending a little bit more time, especially as we present the budget to the city council. Obviously with 4 new, it's a large, pretty complex budget, and by the time they get sworn in, we're obviously well into the process. So, we'll spend some extra time going through this year. I think going through the capital improvements, ones that kind of just move forward a year, and councils had seen before. We used to not spend very much time. This year we'll probably review the entire document. So it'll take a little bit longer, but it's important that they are well aware of everything that's being out there planned. So, with the years when those come forward, it won't be a surprise.
So you mentioned the capital improvements plan. Again, I think people not always are aware that there's sort of 2 budgets. You have your operating budget and your capital improvement budget. Why don't you talk about the differences between those?
Well, the capital improvement plan is just that. It's a plan that goes out 5 years and helps us and the public plan for our finances going forward, and the public to get an idea of kind of where we are and getting projects done. So, obviously we have longer plans than that, but this is the plan where we kind of pull together and balance our budget going years forward, so we don't have big ups and downs. The capital improvements are a large portion of our budget. We do then adopt that first year of the plan as part of the budget, and that goes in with our operating budget. Now, the first look at that budget will be on January 31st. That's a Friday. That afternoon we'll spend from 2 o'clock until we get done, which will probably be after 5, with the City Council with just a real broad overview of our entire operating budget and how that all fits together with our different sources of revenue and expenses. Then the following week, that first week of February, we'll have public meetings on the Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday where each department will present in greater detail every section of the budget.
So the two sort of budgets are separate documents. People can look at them separately.
That's
if
correct.
you were interested in when a street might be reconstructed or if there was a park planned in your neighborhood, you would look in.
You'd look in the capital improvement plan, and that's posted out on the city's website right now. And that'll be the one that we're discussing on Tuesday night, what is it, the 21st? And that's out there now. Anybody can go out and take a look at that, and it does go out the 5 years.
And it
seems
is
a
in
long ways
draft
out.
form because it has not been approved at
That's
this
correct.
point.
It's a draft. After we present to the council, get input from the public on these two meetings, and there's usually a few changes, and once that's finalized, we update it and post that out on the website also.
And then you mentioned in February the departmental presentations. Again, another way for the public to get involved in the budget process is to attend those.
Right, you can attend those sessions, and then there's a final public hearing on the budget wrap-up, which is the following Tuesday in the second week of February, and all these dates are posted out on our website. And we actually finalize the budget early in March. So after we get all those input and the changes, there's a fair amount of information we need to put together and get that ready to send forward to the county treasurer and the state. That information goes in as part of our property taxes, so there's a bit of processing that needs to be done. We hold that final hearing in the first week of March, and then it goes and gets certified, and we're ready for the next fiscal year.
So overall, you've sort of been watching this process. You shepherd it through each year. What are the challenges this year? Are there any things that just come to your mind right away as made this year particularly challenging, or was it pretty typical?
Well, every year's a little bit different, and there's different challenges every year, and sometimes the same challenges every year. But one of the items this year was our local option sales tax. That's the 1% sales tax that goes to the city. 60% of that 1 cent is used to reduce property taxes, and the other 40% is used for capital improvements and an area called community betterment. The biggest two areas are capital improvements and the arts and human services. Well, we saw actually a reduction in the amount of sales tax we received this past fiscal year. So based on that, we projected no growth for this upcoming year, and that obviously puts a little bit of strain on our budget. We also have the situation where there was a property tax reform passed last year by the state legislature, and this is the first year of the implementation of that. And this involves a rollback of our commercial and industrial properties. So instead of being taxed at 100% of the value, they'll be taxed at 95%. The first 2 years of that rollback, the state will provide replacement tax, but there's a bit of calculation and work to figure all that out. And that doesn't really impact the budget as much, which is just a little more work from us. But otherwise, not real big challenges this year. We seem to be coming out of a little bit of an economic slump we were in. So
you mentioned challenges. Any sort of rays of sunshine, things that you hadn't expected that went particularly well?
I'm not a big ray of sunshine person, believe it or not, but we did have a few positive items. We are starting to see, that kind of baby boomer generation turnover. So as we see some employees retiring and replaced by new employees, we do have some salary savings, and that helps out a little bit. Our health insurance costs have gone up a little bit more than they had in the past, but still fairly moderate since we passed some changes to our health insurance plan a few years ago. That continues to reap some benefits as we've done some things to help share those costs and keep those costs down.
So any challenges you were able to overcome. So there's your ray of sunshine, right?
Well, we don't have an approved budget yet, Susan, but I'm confident that we will, and hopefully everybody will be happy with what we can settle on.
Well, Dwayne, I know you're a busy man, and this is your busy time, so I appreciate you stopping by.
All right, thanks.
Well, for those of you looking at getting a discounted pass to the Furman Aquatic Center this summer, you're in luck. They're on sale. You can get a 20% discount for renewing your 2013 season pass, or a 10% discount for a new purchase of a season pass. You can get more information about those on our website at cityofames.org. And for those of you who plan way ahead, just remember to mark your calendar for Saturday, March 29th. That will be the 2014 Eco Fair. Well, that's our show for today. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week for This Week in Ames.